Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. We're going to take a look at a story here that involves, I suppose, entitlement, sort of self-importance, the belief that you don't have to obey the same rules that everyone else does. But it's also a massive, massive weakness of those in charge. Someone has decided that they're going to be pretty spineless and not fight this. And we're talking about work from home. Now, it was brought in as a temporary measure, and now that the reason for that temporary measure has gone, it's only right that people come back to the office. And okay, things do change and aspects do change, and that's fine. But if people want to work, say, 2 days a week from home, okay. But the predominance must be office-based, because that's where work actually happens. But you have these people that decide that no, they'll come in the office 1 day a week. They can't really fight that. But if they're forced to come in for a second day, they want free food, free tea, free coffee, lots of freebies to make it worth their while. Now, if this was in any normal business, any private limited company, anything like that, they'd be told, if you don't get your arse in and sit on that chair, I'll take that as your resignation and you can find another job. But this isn't going to happen to this particular bunch because they are all self-entitled civil servants. What else? Let's have a look at the story and see why these millennials are so up their own arse with their self-entitlement. Here goes. Now, of course, it's not going to be all millennials. And it's not all of those who want to work from home being millennials. But we know that the vast majority of those who are insisting on it are going to be millennials because they are the most self-entitled generation of them all. The rest of us, and I know from the figures that 90% of my viewers are 45 and over. We were there. We were at the coalface. 3,000 years ago, we were there. We were doing this. We worked. We didn't get time off for this and time off for that. We had to come in, and we were glad of having the job to come in too. And sure, you got a few extra days if you did your time served and things like that. That was a bonus. I mean, how many people do you know struggled? Certainly I did. Struggled in snow days. You know, you brave the roads or you take a hike and things like that. Not today. 1, 2, oh, there you go. 3 snowflakes have fallen. I'm staying at home. Say the snowflakes. And that's the problem. They have this entitlement that they think they can get away with it. And unfortunately, within the civil service, they are. They're being allowed to. Where is the leadership? But I would suggest that if you don't, if you're told you have to come in for 2 days a week and you choose not to, then that is you choosing to resign your position. I'm not saying they have to come back in 5 days. I'm aware times have changed. The world has changed. COVID changed a lot of things and people build their life around what they got. But is it too much to expect 2 days a week? Seriously? Anyway, Scott's civil servants complain about working from office 2 days a week and demand free tea and coffee to do it. They're lucky to have a job. The Scottish Government is not going as far as the UK Government to bring civil servants back to the office, but bureaucrats have complained about returning more than once a week, and they want free stuff to do so. No, arse, in, chair, in, office, else, boot. Simple as that. I'd be a hard bastard. I hired people. I was a senior position in a company. I hired and fired. I would go onto site and say, right, we need to get this, this, and this. We're running behind on this. Let's get some gangs in. And bang, bang, bang. And I'd hire people in on contractual term. And at the end of it, they'd paid off and whatever. If people weren't pulling their weight, bang, off that site straight away. I was ruthless for it. Said, that needs to be done by today. If it's not done by today, don't come in tomorrow. Do you know what? Once they saw me fire a couple of people, they knew I was serious. And when I did go on site, I was the operations manager. I wasn't even the build manager. I was the operations manager. But I was looking at budgets and time frames. I had to have this done. I said, if that isn't finished by 5 o'clock today, don't come in tomorrow. Boom, 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 boom. And it was done. Why? Because they were the good old days. It's when the bosses said do, you did. And I had a boss, and then my boss had a boss. And it all the way up. My boss, my boss was the MD. His boss was the chairman. But that's where it was, But I also had another boss because I also had the FD. So I had 2 bosses. But I still did as I'm told. But when I was on site, the site managers did as they were told. And then the labourers did as they were told. Everyone's got a boss. Even the Even the office boy kicks the cat. These people, they don't seem to think that they've got a boss. They seem to think they're the boss. That needs to change. Sorry, that was a very interesting tangent. Tango? That was a very interesting tangent that I didn't need to tell you. But there we are. We're here. Anyway, it's been rumoured that in order to attend their workplace twice a week, they need free tea and coffee. In leaked screenshots from the Scottish Government workers, one tells a civil servant bemoaning the atmosphere in the office and says if they have a choice to work, they will work from home. They say, "Hi guys, anyone heard anything regarding the move from 1 day a week in the office to 2 days a week? Really not keen on this, as the 1 day a week is a struggle enough with the very uncomfortable office temps and the fact that we can no longer change the fans in the office from hot to cold. Blah, 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 you self-entitled pricks. Get your arse in the office and do the job you're being paid to do. Not coming in because the temperature's not right. Not coming in because you've got to buy your tea. If you sit at home, you've got to pay for your tea. Pay for your tea at work." White old bureaucrats have been told they have to be in the office for at least 3 days a week, so 60% of their working time. I'm happy to accept that. 3 days a week is fine. And you can rotate which days, and people might want a Tuesday off or a Friday off or a Monday off or whatever. Whatever day of the week suits you. Indeed, whatever 2 days of the week suit you. Not fussed. We know the world's changed, but 1 day a week is taking the piss, you lazy bastards. Anyway, hospitality and catering businesses expressed alarm at the prospect of public servants spending even less time at their desks, with the majority of Scottish Government's 22,000 staff still working from home years after the COVID pandemic. Fewer than a third of the desks are occupied in 16 big office buildings, and 10 buildings are less than half full. I'm going to give you what you do here is you amalgamate them. You amalgamate the office and you say, right, we've got this big office here, that will be the central office, close that one, sell them off, whatever, redevelop land, whatever. Massive savings to be made in terms of the rental, but also in terms of running it, electric, gas, the heating bills, all that. Just get rid of it and then done. And then come away and put them all in one building. You only have to heat one building, and actually with all those bodies in, the heating bill will go down. So it's just sensible. Well, of course, being sensible means it's the SNP government, and they won't do it because they don't do anything sensible, do they? Because they're thick. Anyway, Leon Thompson, the Executive Director of UK Hospitality Scotland, said, "We know that a lot of city centre businesses are struggling with rising costs and lack of custom. If the Scottish Government was able to get more of its workforce back into the office, that would be incredibly beneficial for those businesses who are really missing out on those workers right now. 2 days a week and you've doubled the turnover in those businesses. You save everyone. And if the people that have got those jobs can't come in 2 days a week, tell them not to come in at all. Fire them. Get rid of them. Tell them, right, go and do whatever you do. You don't want to work here. We'll accept your resignation." Let me tell you, you start doing that, you'll see those little arses suddenly appearing in chairs 2 days a week. I'll finish there and come up, but it is just annoying, isn't it? And as I say, I know my audience. I mean, I know there's going to be some people there going, "Oh, you old dinosaur, you old wanker." Well, no, I'm not an old wanker. It's more important. Work gets done in an office. When you're sitting at home, you've got too many distractions. Yes, you may be dedicated and get this and this and this. You may have a little Zoom call, but you're also looking out the window, checking your email, flicking onto Facebook. Come on, you know you do it. I did it in the office, so I'm damn sure you're doing it at home. Anyway, I should stop there. Thank you very much. I'll come up, we'll finish the video, and we'll move on to the next one. God, you young ones. I know all the oldies here. I know all the oldies here be going, yeah, you're right. And I know all the young ones go, wanker. I don't care. I'm coming up, and yes, I am a bloody dinosaur. Not sure really what annoys me more. Is it the entitlement or the laziness or the lack of leadership? Or is it just some kind of weird admixture of all three that's just slathering itself on a wall and going, yeah, it's nasty, innit? And I think that's probably what it is. I don't think there's any one thing. I think you could probably put up with one of them. You could deal with one of them. But when it's all three, it's like, oh, God. But it's costing a lot of money for these tossers to sit at home, not actually do the job, not be as efficient. Because when you're in the office and you've got your boss looking over your shoulder, you tend to be a bit more work ethically minded, shall we say. But I seriously don't think 2 days a week is too much. And yes, like I say, I'm aware the world's changing. A bit of home working is fine. I never did. I never did. Well, that's not true. I did. I did. At the very peak of COVID, I worked 1 day a week from home, and that's when I did all the reports and things. And I tapped into the computer at work, and I used to run sort of weekly reports for the accounts, and that was it. Only because I could do them from home. The rest of the time, I was running an accounts office. I was dealing with planning meetings. I was trying to do budgets for land purchases. I was out on site 2-3 times a week. You can't do remote work when you're building a house. So I had to be there. And so, you're doing these things because I was a busy man. Running, when you're, how can you put this? If you're trying to run an accounts office and do the operations on a building site, I didn't go onto the site very often. I was the operations manager from the office, but I still had to go on the site. You can't run this from home. You just cannot do it. Plus, and the main thing, I loved my office. I had a big office all to my good self. It was lovely. I had my little bit in the corner where I had my tea making, my little fridge. I had top of the range computer and that. My screens were facing away from the door, so anyone walking in couldn't see what I was doing because it's very important you keep account details away from people. Prying eyes, don't want coming in and accidentally seeing any of your account details. If you believe that, well done. I'll do other bit of Facebook. Be honest, yeah, but I was doing it at work, so I know these buggers are doing it at home. Anyway, there we go. So, you couldn't do it. I worked all the way through. I used to have 1 day a week, home, just doing reports, and that was it. And I don't think 2 days a week is too onerous, and these buggers won't do it. Anyway, I shall stop because I'm just turning it a moaning. This is a moan. So stop moaning. Move on. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe. Stay well. I will speak to you later. Bye.